Hey, what you dealing?
Emoji movie tickets.
You want to go?
Yeah, man, let's go.
Let's go to the Emoji movie. Are you ready? My body is ready for the Emoji movie.
I'm ready. I'm completely ready. I am top-notch shape for the Emoji movie. I've trained for this day. You know, I spent a lot of time just thinking about this Emoji movie. How do you feel about the movie?
I'm feeling pretty ready.
Okay, let's go see it.
Let's go see the Emoji movie.
Let's go see the Emoji movie.
Contrary to popular belief, the Emoji Movie is not the death of cinema, nor is it one of the worst movies ever made. In fact, when compared to other films of its type, the Emoji Movie ends up looking pretty average. Western feature-length animation is not in a good place, nor has it ever been. Usually there's only one or two real standouts per year, and oftentimes these don't ever see a wide release. And maybe there's a couple others that are decent, enjoyable, but the vast majority have always been pandering garbage. How many actually good animated films pre-1990s can you name that weren't made by Disney or Don Bluth? Not a whole lot, and the ones that do come to mind were likely made on a shoestring budget and opened to little fanfare. So why does this movie have the reputation that it does? One of representing everything wrong with Hollywood, and why movies these days only exist to make money. First of all, film is a business just as much as it is an art, but before this tangent goes on for too long, the Emoji Movie is as hated as it is purely in its concept. The absurdity of making a film about something like emojis. It screams out of touch production boards using focus groups in a desperate attempt to seem relatable. And above all, it's memeable. Nobody cares when a movie like Alpha and Omega is bad, because there's hundreds like it. But this is something else. And I have to wonder how intentional, if at all, the marketing for this film was in attracting edgy teenagers and ironic movie hipsters, because nobody can't see the absurdity in a product like this existing, and those who hate on it will pay money to go see it, which only elevates its financial success. I think the team saw the negative attention it was getting online and realized this. There is no such thing as bad publicity. It's why Donald Trump won the presidency, why Uwe Boll is as known as he is, and is at least partially responsible for this film's financial gain. I'm not entirely sure how much ironic ticket sales account for, seeing as how the showing I went to was quite full and consisted almost entirely of families, but it's certainly enough to make an impact on the box office results. If you, personally, do not wholeheartedly, legitimately want to go and see this movie, don't. You are only throwing cash at a project that you believe is undeserving of it. With that said, the Emoji Movie is bad. Like I said, it's not historically atrocious, but for starters, the script feels like a first draft. A lot of dialogue ends up being characters reciting plot points and/or their motivation. A lot of jokes feel like placeholders for jokes that never ended up being written. When they go too long without something to make the audience laugh, which, by the way, never ends up being accomplished, they'll throw in a bizarre meme reference that I'm sure would have been hilarious when production was still going on, but at this point, seeing characters literally say #blessed or "Bye Felicia" in a way very obviously meant to evoke laughter is just uncomfortable, as is the scene in which some of our main characters watch Apple Pen. Speaking of characters, none are well realized. TJ Miller plays Gene, our lead, who is supposed to be a meh emoji. See, this is where the main conflict arises. Because Gene expresses a wide variety of emotions, including those other than meh, he is viewed as a freak by those around him, as his society is one in which every inhabitant does one thing and one thing only. This sets up the plot to make way for an excruciatingly predictable be yourself message for the kids to take home. I'm about to spoil some things, so skip to this point if you really care. While in the middle of his first day as a working emoji as part of some loser high school freshman's phone, Gene freaks out, and as a result, this freshman ends up sending the girl he likes the wrong emoji. The emoji higher-ups plot to delete Gene for his mistake, and while running from death, he bumps into High Five, played oh so likably by James Corden. High Five is the generic bumbling, fat, incompetent sidekick that never acts on behalf of himself or anyone else. He's essentially dead weight, and while most films with this character type would have a scene in which he proves his usefulness by saving the other protagonists, this one never does that. He only ever complicates things and makes life harder for his companions. There's absolutely nothing to like about his character. This movie also does that thing where characters who have barely known each other for a few days, or in this case, a few hours, act like they are lifelong accomplices and best pals. Eventually, the pair stumble upon Jailbreak, a hacker played by Anna Faris, who serves two purposes that are very hard to do simultaneously: a love interest for our main hero and a feminist icon. This movie fails at making her an effective either, and possibly the biggest ethical concern I have within the film is the feminist message. Throughout the first two acts of the film, Jailbreak makes a lot of really on-the-nose comments about men always taking credit for everything women do. Yeah, gender equality is really great, and probably a good lesson to teach, but it just seems so abrupt and out of place here. Write a moral around your story, not the other way around. But I appreciate the effort to promote gender equality, even if a lot of Jailbreak's comments do seem a bit radical. Later though, it's revealed that she used to be a princess emoji, a title she abandoned due to it not being for her, as well as all the negative stereotypes associated with being a princess emoji. Fair enough, not only does this strengthen the message, it provides motivation for her character, it explains her aspirations and personal values, but it's all downhill from here. She's asked multiple times if princesses can summon animals by singing, which she dismisses as an offensive myth. Take note of this, it comes into play later. Eventually, Jean attempts to get into her whatever the emoji equivalent of pants are, and she rejects him because of a want to be her own person, despite clearly showing feelings for Jean at multiple points throughout the film. But okay, that's a character decision, and it sort of makes sense for her. But then immediately afterwards, Jean is abducted by robots and escorted to his execution. Jailbreak then uses her majestic princess powers to summon the Twitter logo to fly her and High Five to go rescue Jean. She proves her own point wrong, doing nothing but making a fool of herself for challenging society's perception of who she should be. And for the rest of the film, she remains in her princess state, never again adopting her hacker persona. She ends the film as a princess, and combined with the be yourself message, it seems as though it's implied that this is who she really is, a stereotypical girly girl, and it ends up feeling kind of misogynistic, and I very highly doubt that this was the intention. The voice acting's generally meh. And there were a couple times when I flat out couldn't tell what the human characters were saying because they just didn't enunciate. It's not all bad though. I give major props to the animation department for making this actually quite visually interesting. Each of the worlds the characters travel through stand out, each with their own identities. There are a lot of cool ideas on display here, and although some of the emoji designs, especially the ones for the face emojis, are a bit strange, it's hard to think of a less grotesque way that they could have pulled it off. The character animation is solid as well. Coming off of the film, I still hold to the belief that there is no concept that cannot be done. This could have been good. There is a good movie buried inside of all this, but the Emoji Movie isn't good. I don't think anyone was expecting it to be. Nobody's gonna be talking about it 2 years from now, and my only final statement is a 3 out of 10.
I'm sad. I'm mad. I wanna just go. I wanna go. I don't want this. I don't want people to make movies anymore. I think we should shut down all the movie theaters. Because this is the best movie that's ever been made. I love
Great.
it. It's so
It's
good.
great.
It makes
I love
me
it.
wanna-
I love it.
Want to live more. It makes me want to sing and dance.
More life.
And party.
I was so young before I could remember. I would always treat my game like numbers. Even when the changing, it never changed up. I always make my friends my